And in the studio today, I have a gentleman, a man who has been doing great things in matters of connecting people, regional peace, and many other beautiful things. He's a great man, and today we're going to discuss what we've never discussed before, especially with the Gen Z uprising in Tanzania and what happened in Kenya. And this man promotes peace. He's my brother. He's none other. But let me not introduce him. He'll introduce himself. Karibu sana, ndugu. You can introduce yourself. Tell the public who you are so that they know you are a big man in the studio today.
No, I'm not a big man, but my name is Daniel Juma Omondi.
Yes.
In the streets, they call me DJ.
Yes.
But it's not the DJ. Like
DJ Cham.
DJ. It's DJ because it's Daniel Juma.
Yes.
Short for Daniel Juma. So
yeah.
I am happy to be here in studio with my long-lost brother, Charles.
Yes.
And I work at the Global Peace Foundation.
Yes.
I am the Africa regional representative of the Global Peace Foundation.
Yeah.
And we are basically a peace-building company, organization. We are based in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And so I represent Africa. In Africa, we have more than 4 countries. We operate in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Nigeria. And of course, we have representatives from, we have ambassadors in various African countries. So I'm happy to basically work, as a peace builder. But before that, I used to work at the Korea Trade Center.
Trade Center, yes.
I was in charge of economic diplomacy. So right now, it brings me back to peace diplomacy.
Yes.
It's all related because economy is freedom.
Freedom from.
Charles, money, being able to earn a living basically gives you freedom.
Yeah.
And as you know, Africans were colonized. So, so we did not have freedom at that time when we had colonization. But even after independence, Africans have continued to lag behind in other areas. We have had neo-colonization, where we have had, of course, some parts of Africa still depending on the former colonizers to be able to survive. And that's why you see, if you go to South Africa, people like Malema, they're talking about economic freedom. EFF. So it's because if you don't have money in your pocket, you can't be in charge of your economy, then you are still colonized. You don't have the freedom. You're still enslaved to the big corporates. You're enslaved to people who have the money. That means that they can do anything that they want to do. And if you don't have money, you can't. Wanasemanga kwa Kiswahili, mkono mtupu haulambwi. We are basically living in a commercial world where even to have a girlfriend, even to have a wife, you don't have money, you can't even get laid, and all that. Yes. It's difficult. It's difficult. And so, one of the things that we do in Global Peace Foundation, of course, is youth empowerment. How do we get our young people to be empowered? But this empowerment starts from the mind, the mindset. You must have that mindset, to know that, especially for young people, you have the future in your hands. So the idea of you waiting for someone to come from outside Africa or outside this country to give you the freedom, to help you get a job, it will not really work because Africa is a continent that has so many problems. We are still lagging behind economically, but these problems are opportunities. You get my point? So we as Africans must see what problems are here, and there are so many. How can we utilize these problems to cash in on those problems? So the problem we have basically are not in itself, I don't want to call them a misfortune, but they're actually a means upon which we can be able, especially if we are innovative enough, we can look at our problems and get inspired to actually do something about it. Somebody said that if you are not hungry, then you don't go to look for food, right?
Yeah.
So hunger sometimes is necessary because then it gets you out of your comfort zone.
To get something.
To go out and do something.
And work.
And work.
Actually, 90% of Kenyans and Africa in the world, people work because they need to eat.
Because they need to eat.
Yes.
Because they have necessity. They have to make it or make it.
Yeah.
You understand? So necessity and problems and challenges in itself are not bad, because then they push us to get out of that comfort zone and do something about it. And that's why we do a lot of youth empowerment programs at the Global Peace Foundation. We have a program called the President's Fellowship, where we say that African leaders have a responsibility to nurture the leaders who are coming after them, to nurture the next generation of African leaders. Look at Barack Obama. He was an American president.
But he was nurtured.
Yeah, but then he came up with something called Young Africa Leadership Initiative, YALI. So we have an American president coming here to nurture African leaders. What is wrong with Africa? Why can't Suluhu nurture someone to take over from her?
No,
why can't Museveni nurture someone why can't he nurture Bobby Wine to take over from him? Why is it that African leaders are very, very, how do you call it? They're afraid of young people coming up. Why can't they say, look, you are a young person, you have ambition, come and let me
learn,
mentor you
and learn.
Your point. So if Museveni can say, Bobby Wine, kuja, come sit down.
Yes.
I want to appoint you maybe a cabinet position.
Yeah.
And then I want to nurture you because you see you have very potential.
Yeah.
And then you sit with me, learn with me. After 10 years, when I'm done with my so many terms,
6 terms,
you can take over. But why these guys are not doing that? They're just beating young people.
Now you've brought a very interesting perspective.
Yes.
And maybe when you're talking about, I was thinking, Dalai Lama said that peace is not the absence of conflict.
Yes.
There are conflicts, disagreements,
yes.
but there's a way how we resolve these disagreements. The youth have come, and the youth are rising in Africa, saying,
absolutely,
this thing in Tanzania doesn't work for us. Kenyans said it is not working. Ugandans are saying it's not working. How do we solve these conflicts among the youth? And now Samia Suluhu Hassan running against Samia Suluhu Hassan. Yeah.
We have to, because right now, and especially you see when this Gen Z phenomenon started in Kenya last year, I was here in Nairobi when we had a big conference, at Radisson Blue, where we were supposed to host, we were hosting so many people, delegates from Africa. The president was supposed to come and open that. And then, that is the time. At the same time, the Gen Z issue erupted. Now, one thing you must know about the Gen Zs, and after that you have seen it happening, of course, it happened in Bangladesh, it happened in Nepal,
yes.
And the other day in Madagascar, and even in Cameroon, in Morocco. Morocco also, I see young people are getting restless, and in Tanzania, because young people do not pretend. They are not politically correct.
Yes.
If they don't have money, they don't have it. If they don't have jobs, they don't have it.
Yes.
You understand? They don't have it. So they can't pretend that they have it. If they're suffering, they're suffering. So the government has to ensure that they're coming up with strategies to help these young people. Number one, believe in themselves. Believe in themselves. Help these young people own the vision of the Kenyan dream. If it's a Kenyan dream, then it is not the leadership to push, the leadership should convince the Kenyan people to own in the Kenyan dream. So how can we collectively work and be able to build the Kenyan nation, the Kenyan dream together? But if you are excluding them, if they feel excluded, and the leadership itself, you say it's like us versus them, then they will not feel part of the solution, and this is a problem that's happening where I don't want to say old people, but the people who are in power are not they feel insecure. Just allowing young people
to express
themselves. But even look at, for example, you talk about Gen Z. If you look at independence. The time of independence, the people like Tom Mboya, Mwai Kibaki, those guys, they started leading in their 20s. In their 20s. How come that today, young people, we don't have in leadership, we don't have people in leadership who can, who are actually below, 35. You
Oh, yeah,
understand?
it's crazy because even Ofafa started leading in 20s.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you look at all these guys, Martin Luther King, even Barack Obama, when he was president, he was in his 40s. He was in his 40s, but he started his politics at a much younger age. How come here it is so difficult, for example, to have a cabinet secretary who is, for example, in his 20s?
That one, President Ruto gave a cabinet position. I don't hear him anymore.
The other day, the young man is just the other day, CS for water.
Yeah.
But nobody hears about him. I don't know basically what
he does.
It's difficult to know. You get my point. But so this is the problem. So I think our African leaders must begin working with the youth. And they must begin, actually doing something to help the youth on the vision of where this nation is to go. I can tell you, yesterday I was with a friend of mine, Charlene Ruto. She's the daughter of the president. This is a lady who is actually doing something. She is trying on her own. Encouraging young people to actually start loving agriculture. You understand?
Yeah.
She's the daughter of the president, but she doesn't behave like the daughter of the president. She works with these young guys. She's there with them, nurturing them. And, I was honored to be one of the guests yesterday during the Smash Foundation when she launched a center where young people can learn about agriculture. But that's what I'm saying. At least you see someone like her, she knows the problem.
And she's facing it.
She's facing it.
Yeah.
And at least she has taken one route and she's moving with it. Just getting young people to farm again. Because in this country, the mean age of a farmer is actually 60.
Yeah, because they don't farm.
People don't farm.
Yeah.
And then the mean age of the continent of Africa is 19. The average, is 19. That's the median age. And more than 75% of the population is actually, is below the age of 35. So when you're talking about farming, and the statistics are grim,
Yeah.
The president spoke about us importing, a lot. We actually, the data is out there and it's crazy that Kenya is importing a lot of food, from outside. For example, eggs. I think we have a capacity. There's a need for, I think, almost 9 billion eggs? And either 9 billion or 9 million. But we are only able to make,
produce
less than 50% of that. A majority is being imported. Why are we importing these things? Why are we importing food? Why are we importing rice?
Why are we importing toothpick?
Why, we just need to come up with policies where we can be able to actually make use of the land that we have. Kenya has a lot of land that is not being utilized, not being put to good use. So I think if we can come up with policies that actually encourage these young guys to get busy, come up with policies that encourage youths to love agriculture, ensure that if they're doing agriculture, ensure they have market, the markets, ensure that they can be able to take their produces to the supermarket and they are sold and they can have money in their pockets. This nation has a lot of opportunities, rather than us talking about just taking people outside the country. I think if we come up with deliberate, plans to actually involve the youth in agriculture, involve the youth in also creating innovation. Look at M-Pesa. M-Pesa was a youth innovation, right? What are we doing to keep, nurturing new innovation? I always say that just like Facebook, 20 years ago we didn't have Facebook, and today Facebook is one of the biggest employers and the biggest media organization in the world. So today, if we help nurture innovation amongst the youth, then the next big thing that will create hundreds and thousands of jobs in Kenya and Africa is going to be nurtured by these young people who are in our classroom today.
Yeah.
So we keep saying that one of the things that I say that one of my most important work at the Global Peace Foundation is transforming education.
Yeah.
The education system that we have
Kenya today
is a 300-year-old system that was given to us by the colonialists. Actually, this system was meant to just manufacture workers for factories, to work in colonial factories.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
And so it has taken us long to be able to actually review this, transform this education system. You understand? You know, so if you look at today, you know, young people are actually faster than the teachers in class. Young people, if you give them this phone, like my 16-year-old son,
he will do wonders.
He's doing wonders. He can go into II, he can do what, but his teachers still are looking at they're looking at the traditional modes of learning. But now people are learning
machine learning.
Yeah, AI is able to provide everything that you need. So, but people are saying that AI is bad or AI is not good for education. But you know what? I tell the people, you know what? AI is here to stay. Just like the other day, they said email is not going anywhere. Today, everyone is having email.
Yeah.
AI is here to stay. What AI does, AI gets rid of the mundane. Those mundane tasks, the repetitive tasks that you do, AI wants to do them for you so that you, Charles, can focus on the most important thing.
The critical
areas,
yes.
Relationships, you know, innovation, coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
You know, we as people, we need to come up with, spend more time doing the most important things, not spend time doing what AI can do. Your point. So there are things that AI can do right now, even coming up, for example, with the lesson plan.
Yeah.
A teacher doesn't have to waste time, you know, writing lesson plan, you know, with this whatever, you know.
Every day.
AI can do that for you so that the teacher can spend more time with these students in class, nurturing character, asking how are they, how is everything, how the issues of mental health. So teachers can focus on those. So teachers can also, you know, be the coaches, instruct the students, for example, where to go and get something to read, what to do, and all this. So AI is here to stay. So we are saying that as we approach 2050, the people in our classroom today, those students, the 13-year-old, the 14-year-old, what we are calling the Gen Zs, they will be the presidents, they will be the MPs, MCAs, senators of this country. They'll be running the show.
Yeah.
So what are we doing with these people? So it is up to the educators, the schools, the teachers, the parents. Let us work with them and nurture them, mentor them well, so that at least in the year 2050 and before then, we'll have a better world. We'll have a more what I call a better civilization.
A proper civilization.
Yes, but if we don't do it, you can see, you know, the way they are throwing stones. You saw in Tanzania. If we don't do something today to do a better job at bringing these young people, if we don't do it today, then I can tell you what you are seeing in Tanzania and what you see in Kenya, these are whatever. You know, you cannot compare them because these young people are sharp. They ask questions. For example, my young 14-year-old always, when I tell her to do something, she wants to reason with me. She asks me, "But Daddy, why? Why do I need to do that?"
They always ask.
Yeah, they want why? They want to know. They want to reason with you.
You see, and you've put it very well that the education system we had earlier was to manufacture factory workers, which is true, and we need to re-examine our education, which I think we're doing.
Yes.
But also remember, the youth of today are people who really understand themselves. They're in the information age. They can access anything they want at their phones, at their fingertips, but they also are more informed than any other generation before.
Absolutely.
So if you see the way what's happening in Tanzania, what happened in Kenya is that the youth are ready to be taken care of with candid and conversation and opportunities which are real, not fake things.
Yeah.
You see, as we would be told, tutakuletea mkate and it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there's something I always tell, like saying that our ancestors, they fought for, you know, like our grand ancestors.
Yes.
Some of them fought to free themselves from slavery. You know, those guys were being hunted down to be sold as slaves. You know, our great, you know, so they were running away from slavery.
Slavery, yes.
People wanted to sell them to Oman or to Europe, to US.
Yeah.
So they were fighting for that. And then when colonization came, we had our great-grandparents fought for independence, right?
Yeah.
And then after independence, we had people fighting for, liberation. That's what they call the second liberation. You get my point?
The second liberation. Well, first independence and second liberation.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that our ancestors already did this. Yeah. We don't need to subject our young people again to be fighting for independence, for freedom. You understand? Right now, let's have jobs. Let's get young people in jobs.
Economic
freedom, so that our young people don't need to be going on the street running. Again, it's looking for freedom. You get my point? Yes. So it is a shame when I see what is going on in Tanzania, for example.
Yes.
Just a simple election. What is wrong with just conducting a free and fair election?
But it's not possible to do a free and fair election because of very simple things. The Tanzanian constitution is not reformed.
Yeah, but even if it's not reformed, Charles.
Yes.
I mean, it is simple. I mean, why would you, a responsible leader?
Yes.
Because people are not stupid, by the way.
Yes.
And why would you see it?
Ban everyone.
To ban everyone. You put your opponents in jail. What happened with just saying, okay, Kujeni Wote, let's do it, and then at least do your thing. Maybe at the whatever. Why put them in jail? Why can't you have the semblance of a free and fair campaign? Yeah. And then maybe if you want to steal votes, you steal at the end. So what is happening in Tanzania is wrong. And this is what has been happening in other jurisdictions. Even in Kenya, in 2007, elections were basically
stolen.
Yeah. Raila Odinga won those elections. And it was stolen. It was stolen.
100% stolen.
And we saw it was stolen when we were seeing that. I could see, I was in 2007, I was a member of something called the ODM Professional Network.
Yes.
And I could see when Raila was winning. And then all of a sudden,
Nithi Bridge.
Yes.
Nithi vote scheme.
You get a point?
Yeah.
And Martha Karua, they were in charge of the ECK then, But nowadays, you see, yesterday I was even watching Martha Karua.
Yes,
when she was talking about Tanzania. But I said, this is what they have been doing. This is what they did. So Suluhu is just copying what some crooked whatever did before. You get my point? So this habit of stealing elections should be, the election is a mathematical thing. You count the votes. Yani watu wapiga kura, wewe hesabu. Yule amepata 10 ni huyo ndiye mshindi. Yule amepata 8 ni number 2. Get my point? So what is wrong with Africa? We can't even do a simple mathematical exercise. And this is why the Gen Zs have a problem. Because it's a simple thing.
Yeah, they can call the bluff.
Yes. They say, fine, bring the votes. They vote. Gen Zs are not even like, Gen Zs are saying, this is a straightforward thing. Leta hizo kura zipigwe.
Yes.
Alafu tuhesabu, tuone, CEO amekuwa namba 1, DJ namba 2, na huyo ndio president.
Yeah, it's simple task.
It's a simple thing.
It's a very simple exercise.
Why are we wasting our energy trying to manipulate? And the moment you manipulate, these guys are not stupid. They know. If you are manipulating, they will know that you are doing that. And again, if you are not, because the Constitution says that the elections must be simple.
Yes,
simple majority. Verifiable. It must be verifiable. You get my point?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, why can't you just make a transparent system? So if Suluhu wins, let her win. And let her, what is wrong? Because even Tindi Lissu and the other, they're also Tanzanians. Kwani wao si wako na damu ambayo si wamezaliwa pia Tanzania. Wakishinda si wao pia ni binadamu.
I get you. The Tanzania question, is it that the constitution is too old? Is it that the youth cannot be, the Chama cha Mapinduzi has lost its touch with reality? Or is it that the Tanzanians are getting the age of information, where now they're saying this Ujamaa thing which we had cannot work anymore? The idiocy of Ujamaa.
Yeah, I think Tanzania is still conducting its politics in the medieval era. And you understand, of course, Chama cha Mapinduzi was the post-independent party, just like we had our KANU. And I think they have not gotten used to changing parties. Of course, I think it's partly maybe because of the Juma policies that were kind of more socialist basically more socialist in nature, and so the CCM has been, kind of like chama la baba na mama
Like KANU.
KANU ya Tanzania. So what Tanzania have not realized that actually politics is dynamic, politics is changing.
Yes.
KANU was swept out of power, of course, for quite a long time, and we have had parties changing. So I think Tanzania is trying to resist change, which is inevitable.
Yeah.
But Charles, as you know, sometimes change, becomes necessary. You remember those days? There were days we used to have Kodak films. You remember those days?
Yes.
Kodak.
Kodak is how a company should never ever try to live.
Yes.
They had, the Kodak issue is very sad.
Yes.
They had the rights of digital cameras.
Yes.
And digital photography.
Yes.
They sold it hoping that they resisted change.
Yes.
And they died with all their rights.
They died with it. So now I'm comparing CCM
to
like
Kodak. It's sad.
Because then, in terms of policies,
yes,
I don't see any dynamism. In terms of governance,
yes,
opening of democratic space, I'm not seeing any. I don't see them learning, from innovations that are coming up in other countries, and so if CCM continues to be like that, in terms of not opening up the democratic space, in terms of thinking that you can steal
and stifle
and even steal elections. You understand? Charles, elections is a democratic process. And it's an expression of the will of the people. So that ballot box, as you see it, is a representation of the will of the people. What do I mean? It means that in the ballot box, it shows you what the people want. You understand? So when you mess up with that ballot box, then you mess up with the will of the people. And usually you cannot, just like pregnancy, unajua huwezi ficha wanasemanga
huwezi ficha, you cannot hide pregnancy.
You can't hide pregnancy.
You can't.
And also the will of the people, you can't hide.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
There is what the people want.
Yeah.
You may try to stifle it.
Yes.
You may try to tell them, nyinyi mkae hivyo, msikue kama wa Kenya.
Yes.
Msikue,
kwa jirani kuna waka moto.
Kuna waka, yes. But you need to know that the needs, the challenges facing the youth
is global.
It's global.
Yes.
They are not unique to Kenya.
Yeah.
They're not unique to Uganda, Tanzania. Freedom, everybody wants freedom.
And people want freedom. People want jobs.
People want jobs.
People want better life.
Yes.
Everywhere.
And people want dignity.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
People want dignity. And so the only dignity, I always say that, especially for the young people who don't have jobs, who don't have influence, political influence on what? The only freedom, the only thing that they have is that vote and also the freedom of expression.
Yes.
Iyo haki ya kuongea, ya kufikiria na kuongea. The freedom to think and to express yourself.
Yeah.
These freedoms, I always say, they're not given to you by government. Governments cannot give you these freedoms. These freedoms are God-given. When you are born, you're born with your mouth, you're born with your mind, you're born with your brains. You understand? And so it is God who gives you this freedom. So sometimes African governments think that they're giving people freedoms. No, you don't give people freedom to speak. You don't give me freedom of conscience. You don't give, these are God-given. You get my point? And so citizens must always rise up and remind governments who are in power that these freedoms, the freedom of speech, the freedom of conscience, freedom of association, these things are God-given. Human beings are relational beings. You understand? You cannot control human beings. You cannot tell human beings how to relate to one another. They're relational, and some of these things come naturally. And that's one of the reasons why, Tanzania really need to know, like they needed to learn. If I were President Suluhu, I would have learned from what happened in Kenya in 2024.
But President Suluhu, and I quote what she said.
Yes.
She said that kwa jirani kuna waka moto.
Yes.
Wawekezaji wengi sana wametorokea hapa kwa sababu wawekezaji hawataki mahali kuna machafuko. Hapa kwetu ni nchi yetu tu ndio haina ni ya amani, haina shida na kwa hivyo tumepata wawekezaji wengi. Huko kwa jirani viumbe vimeleta shida.
Yeah, but look at
how can you call Kenyans viumbe?
It's crazy because I can tell you, Charles, Suluhu may look down on Kenya. Yeah. But she needs to know that the economy of Kenya is bigger than the economies of all these East African countries combined together. You understand?
Yeah.
And Kenyan economy, people have been stealing, and our economy is still resilient.
Yes.
Yani watu wanaiba, but the country still, we are able to pay our debts. Yani we are a resilient economy.
Yes.
You get my point?
Yeah.
And so Kenya is not a country that you just look at. And so if I were Suluhu, I would have taken a cue from Kenya. Usually Kenya is the one that gives direction, especially to the region.
When it sneezes,
the other catches. So she should have learned. And when Suluhu started very well. When she was appointed, she started very well. She released some of the political, prisoners.
Yes.
She was able to meet with Tundu Lissu and the other one, whatever.
Yeah.
She
the Chadema leaders.
The Chadema, yes.
Yeah.
So we thought that there was going to be some change in Tanzania. There's going to be like kind of a mother figure. Mama ni mtu ambaye doesn't really, hit hard.
Yes.
Like Magufuli. No, Magufuli was hitting hard. Magufuli hakuwa anapenda hiyo mchezo. He was hitting hard. So people thought that Mama atakuja na, the motherly love.
Velvet fingers.
She will, nurture us and what. But kumbe, she is tougher than Magufuli.
They have called her Idi Amin Dada.
Yes, which is very, very sad. Very, very sad.
Yeah.
And so, so for me, what I'm saying, what I want to say, especially now Tanzania and now Uganda. Uganda also, the old man with the big heart, President Museveni, really needs...
Sebo.
Yes, Sebo. Yeah. He's a man I respect.
Yes.
But honestly, he needs to learn.
Yeah.
He's a wise man. And I trust in his wisdom.
Yeah.
If I were him, I would learn from what is going on in Tanzania and what happened in Kenya and ensure that the coming elections are held without drama. You understand? If he can be, because the guy is already, honestly, he's already old. He's already old. I don't want to say that he's, but he's already old. And right now, of course, he has his son there and the wife. They are the ones kind of who are, of course, I don't want to say controlling him, the president. But the fact is that the man is old. Sometimes the challenges of age, you may try to hide. Yes. But just like I said earlier on, you can't hide pregnancy.
Yes.
Even age, you can't hide.
You can't hide.
You can't hide. And when time comes for you to even exit the world, it will come. These are things you can't control. And so my advice to the young people is, I always tell young people, sometimes some of these leaders, they may be thinking that, we are here, I'm here. They will not be there forever. They may stay, but at the end of the day, the youth have the benefit of time, of age. You understand? These guys, I can tell you, most of them will not be there for another 10 years. Maybe another 10 years, they will be out. You get my point? So my advice to them is, usually right now what I do is, I tell the youth, even as much as we do these demonstrations and what, let us agitate, but let us do them, in an orderly manner. There's something called the non-violence, what Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi, they advocated for non-violence protest. You get my point? So that we show them that we are peaceful, the youth are peaceful, but eventually, if we do that, then we are able to make a lot of positive changes in the country. And you must give it. People criticize President Ruto, but sometimes you must give it to Ruto. When last year during the Gen Z protest, actually, when that happened, of course, initially he released a statement that was very disturbing, but then later on, he said, finance bill, nimewachana nayo.
Yes.
And then again he dismissed the cabinet. He said your cabinet iende. You understand? And then he invited the Gen Zs to come to the table. He told them, come to the table, kujeni tuonge. Honestly, I felt that the president at that time, he demonstrated leadership.
Yes.
But now problem with, again, the Gen Zs at that time, wakasema, we are leaderless, we are whatever, rudderless. And so we are not, we don't want you to, you need to know what to do. You need to know what to do. So, but the problem is they refuse to come to the table.
To negotiate.
In fact, they needed some cabinet positions.
Yeah, they needed to have an order.
Yes.
And they needed to have some sort of leadership which they trust.
Yes.
Which they can say, these are people who represent us.
Yes.
And these are the 10-point agenda we need to achieve from this change of government or change of cabinet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what they needed to do. But you see, that time they said, we are leaderless, we are rudderless, we don't want to come to the table.
Yeah.
And so what happened? You saw ODM, they now came up and donated their experts.
Yes.
You know?
Which became a very big problem.
It became a problem. And then at that time, people were thinking because they're saying Raila Odinga took advantage of them and now benefited from whatever. Now we had this broad-based. You get my point? So what I'm saying is, as much as we are... leaderless or we are whatever. Let's do it. Let's have some strategy. And so right now, what our young people need is strategies, mentorship on how they can be able to actually turn the agitation into something positive.
Yeah.
The wins are big. When the finance bill was rejected, that was a big win.
Yes.
You get my point? When the cabinet was, was chased, it was a big win. You get my point? But now, when they refused to come to the table, now some of those wins were basically diluted because some of the leaders who were actually kicked out from the cabinet were brought back on board. Yes, yeah. So usually I usually in Kijalo we say Oyanyo Gwang, Oyanyo Gweno.
Yes.
You know what it means, right?
Yes.
So sometimes you give it to you to the chicken and also to the Gwang, I don't know what it's called, into the mongoose. You get my point?
Yeah.
So President Ruto actually has tried. He tried to manage the youth. And right now, with the kind of programs he's coming up with, now he's come up with the Nyota, whatever. At least he's responding. He's responding to issues of how can we get young people to get jobs. You get my point? Those may not we may not realize immediate results, but you can see his intention is that he wants to create jobs for these young people. And again, one of the things that President Ruto has done, also reaching out to the opposition. Charles, you know where we come from. From historically, we have been in opposition. If you look at the roads in Ugenya, specifically from Kisumu. Last week when I went to Baba's funeral, the road from Kisumu to passing through Yala to Busia, it is potholes. You understand? Yeah. You can't drive in that road. It forced me actually to go through Siaya route inside Bondo. The Bondo roads are much better. Yeah. But this is the road connecting Kisumu to Uganda. It's bad. It's bad. And if you compare that to the roads, I've been driving in Central Province.
Yes.
President Kibaki, President Uhuru, they built and constructed most of the roads in Central Province. And of course in other areas. So for a long time we have been in opposition. We have been left. Why? Because of how we have been voting. We have been voting, of course, for Baba and Jaramogi and before that.
Yes.
So that has made previous governments has kind of starved us of development.
Yeah.
So, but now Ruto is saying that even though Nyanza did not vote for me, they are taxpayers and they deserve development. So President Ruto, by embracing through this broad-based government.
I call it bread-based.
But at least he's showing the people of Nyanza that I am your president and you also matter. So for me, those are wins, which I like to celebrate. Usually I criticize, but also I give credit where credit is due.
Which is, but now, you see, back to this Tanzanian question.
Yes.
There are three things which have happened that the election has proceeded. There are no newspapers yesterday.
Yes.
They didn't publish. They shut the airspace. They shut the social media. They shut the communication outside and the curfew. And there are also rumors that there are many people who have been killed. And is it that Tanzanians have never had, and in their lifetime, they've never had to deal with popular protest or a protest by a generation the way it has happened? So they didn't know how to react to it, and you could see their general for the first time. The general was talking, Nkunda, saying that people should stop spoiling, destroying property, government property, and all the kind of things. And I wondered, where was President Suluhu right now? Because it is at this time of need is when leadership is demonstrated.
Absolutely. And also media. I'm asking, where is the media in Tanzania?
They were shut down all of
No,
them.
this morning I was watching, TBC and also Wasafi TV. They're just playing music.
Yeah, because you can't.
They're playing music. The TBC was playing Tarab. How can you play Tarab when there's an election? The election, you need to be showing us the telling. That the media is there to promote governance. So this is the time that Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation, Wasafi TV, should be showing us how the votes are being counted.
They cannot, because their government...
But why? The government is not God. Suluhu should know she's not God. Yeye sio Mungu hata. Na ajue yeye ni binadamu kama wale wa Tanzania wengine. She needs to know that.
Even what they do is that they always say that in Tanzania, that's why if you move, and Tundu Lissu, my friend, said the other day when we met with him, he said that the moment you pass Namanga border, everywhere you find a picture near mama, everywhere.
Yes.
There's no business.
Yes.
Their business is mama.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is where, again, I really hope, I really respect Tanzanians. Tanzanians are good friends. I have very good friends in Tanzania. But honestly, how can you allow? Yeah. It's just like the other day. I was seeing some Muzungu in Kwale. Spitting on a policeman. Yeah. I was asking myself, how can you allow that to happen?
In your country.
How do you allow a human being,
when host,
a human being, ati akwambie, ati you close the TVs? Suluhu is just a human being. She is just she's just a servant of the people. She is not God. She has not been given the power to ration what people say. Hiyo ni kazi amejipatia. You get my point? Like nimesema, that freedom of speech these are God given.
Right.
Serikali hakupatii hizo. Watanzania wajue kwamba hizi ni hizo rights wamepewa na Mungu. Na if Suluhu is going astray by purporting to control the media, they need to tell her off. You understand? The media organizations need to tell her off. The media should not allow that the media is shut at a crucial time when the world needs to be seeing what is going on in Tanzania. We need to be seeing who are being elected. We need to be seeing how the votes are being counted. We need to be seeing how the protests are going on, whether the people are being killed, how the police are conducting themselves. If you don't do that, how can the world help? How can we help? You understand? So it is a big injustice. And this is the problem with African leaders. Some African leaders abrogating themselves.
The powers
of God. They are not God. Sisi tumeona wengi. Uganda tuliona Idi Amin Dada alikuja na kaenda. You understand? There's nothing special about being a president that you can say that you don't want to give, people their rights. Your right ya kupiga kura is the only right. Huyo mama mboga huyo Tanzania, hiyo power amepewa na Mungu, uwezo amepewa. Now you're denying her that right. You understand? It is very, very sad. And so Tanzanians really must get their voice together and speak truth to power. Because ukizoesha mwanadamu, ati unamwonyesha yeye ni Mungu, then she'll sit on you.
But you see, the Samia Suluhu policies, one of them was to try and stop the great migration of wildebeest, because she has a problem with Kenya, I think.
Yes.
And most Tanzanians have a problem with Kenya. Do we need this union?
For me, because of actually yesterday, Jana Johnny, I was at an event, and after singing the national anthem, I told this guy, stop it at that, because now they say now tunaimba ile
East Africa.
Mimi hata sikuimba, nilinyamaza. When I was seeing what is happening in Tanzania, and what is happening in Uganda. Uganda also nasikia some Kenyan youth, kuna watu Nick na
Nico you and the other gentleman.
Yes,
yeah.
You know. I was wondering why are they a threat to to Museveni? Why would they be? Why would someone hold them? These are just. I know these guys. They're my friends. Nico Yoni, they've been trying to, to be relevant with this in the Free Kenya movement.
Yeah.
And Bob Njage.
Yeah.
Bob Njage mtu anaishi hapa Kitengela. You get my point?
Yeah.
So they've been trying to be relevant with it. They are not a threat to anyone. They're not a threat to Kenya. Why would someone in Uganda
feel threatened
by these two small people? You get my point?
Yes.
You understand? So sometimes I don't get it. I was telling someone, ni kweli wameshikwa? Ama pengine, maybe ni game inachezwa. Because for me, I was saying, I can't understand. Why would someone hold them hostage? Why, by holding them hostage, you are making them popular for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
You get my point? You get my point? So for me, sometimes I really don't understand. I really don't understand what some of these leaders, they think, So we need to get our act together. Kama nini Jumuiya. If Jumuiya, we need to get serious. By now, we should have been talking about a East African Federation. By now, we should have had one currency, common currency. By now, we should have had one labor. So kama mimi ni Mkenya naweza fanya kazi Tanzania, Mtanzania anaweza kuja hapa afanye kazi. But we have not been able to do that. Look at now what is happening. Suluhu and Museveni, they cannot get elections right, governance right. You get my point? Kenya has shown them that we can have our elections and an incumbent president, like right now you see, in our previous election, the president was supporting Raila Odinga and, President Uhuru, right? And we had President Ruto from opposition winning. And
who was the vice president then?
The vice president then. So we are showing them that the will of the people is king. You understand? So they need to learn from us. They need to learn. So if they cannot get simple things like governance, like democracy, then why do we need the union? Why do we need Kenya? I was seeing a report in Parliament by Mayaka saying that the other countries are letting us down. They are not even paying their dues. So Kenya is paying, the greatest dues in the EAC. You got a point. So ni kama sisi tumewabeba. Alafu kuna vitu zingine wanajiletea wao. Hawezi fanya uchaguzi wa uhuru na haki. So why do we need those people? Why do we need this Jumuiya? You understand? So for me, if these guys cannot get it right, then we should have an e-exit. Like we had British
Brexit.
We can do our own e-exit.
Kenyist.
Called Kenya or e-exit, or K-exit,
Yeah.
Because wanatuzungusha, wanatushukisha, they're dragging us behind.
Kama firirinda marinda.
Yes, they're dragging us behind. Right now, the region should be talking about innovation.
Yeah.
Should be talking about jobs. Should be talking about economy. How can we pull together? How can we industrialize together? How can we have a joint, for example, SGR itoke hapa iende mpaka Tanzania,
Arusha,
nini,
yes.
So that we have one big economic bloc. We cannot do that if Suluhu is just at opposition leaders wanawekwa
abducting and jailing them.
For what?
Museveni is jailing others and abducting others.
That makes sense. For what? You are a human being. Tomorrow you'll be out, Tumeona wengi wamekuja na wameishi na wameenda, si ndio?
Yeah.
You don't live forever. As a human being, you don't live here forever. You need to respect human life. You understand? And so these are basic human conscience. They need to have basic human conscience. with the level of consciousness. What I know nowadays, people are talking about AI, artificial intelligence. But at Global Peace now, we are talking about something called spiritual intelligence. You know, spiritual intelligence ni kama wewe unaelewa umaana wa human life, wa utu. You get my point? So an example, Gaza. You see Gaza. When people were dying in Gaza, I could watch TV. I could cry when seeing, you know, young children,
innocent,
you know, begging for food. You understand? Kama we ni binadamu, it hurts you. You understand?
The conscience.
The conscience.
Yeah.
So when you are a human being and you don't have spiritual intelligence, that means you have not reached the level whereby you can see empathy, you can empathize, you can sympathize, and you can be a human being. Useme enyewe hii amefanya makosa lakini siwezi fanya hii. Tundu Lissu maybe alifanya makosa lakini wacha nimsamehe.
And you should avae.
Yeah. Sema wewe umefanya makosa, because president pia kuna something called presidential pardon. Suluhu akona power ya kupardon, you know, Tundu Lissu. Aseme wewe ulinifanyia makosa lakini nimekusamehe. Kuja tushindane. Ukinishinda nitakupa. Nikikushinda unyamaze. That's what she should have done. You know? I mean, I am not I mean, I don't know what kind of advice they have, you know? You know, because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with people, and that's why I remember Mandela. When Mandela was president, sometimes Mandela could sometimes give, he could leave the country.
To Mongotsusu Buthelezi, FFP.
Yes, I said, now, I'm going on leave. Mongotsusu would be acting president.
Yes.
It had a psychological effect on South Africans.
Yeah.
They would think, hey, so Mandela, you can leave at Mongotsutu Akai as acting president.
Yes.
Because this president isn't even to the dunia. Zinakuja na utaziwacha hapa. You understand? So why would Suluhu feel threatened by someone like Tundu Lissu, who is just also trying to be relevant, trying to create his own party? Why not allow him to compete? And sometimes even say, ndugu yangu, najua unatamani hii kitu sana, kuja wikalie
for a few days,
few days, mi naenda
Zanzibari.
Zanzibari. You understand?
Yes.
So if she can do this kind of thing, it's a psychological. Watanzania watamwona, yani amemwachia Tundu Lissu akae kwa hiyo kiti kwa siku 5. You get my point? So it's how African leaders are not, they don't have the capacity to think, also to empathize, and also to demonstrate to wananchi that easy vitu. The power belongs to the people. You know, viongozi wajue, you know, power ni ya watu. Watu ndio wanapeana hiyo power. You understand? And when you lead on behalf of the people. You understand? You cannot abrogate yourself the role of God. You get my point?
Yes.
You know, so this is something that I think Suluhu, Arudi Darasani, an African leader, wasome about governance, wasome political science, wajue kwamba in this century, we should not be doing what they're doing. Tanzania should not be doing what was happening today.
Yes. Yeah.
Uganda should not be doing that. Wakitaka tukae pamoja kama jumuiya, they need to stop that nonsense. Waanze kufikiria about how to develop this region.
Yes.
We start making money, we start, you know, building the East African bloc as a together
as an economic bloc. Yes.
Because sasa wazungu wanatushinda. Angalia sasa Trump sasa anasema ataki watu wengi waende huko. You know, he's closing immigration, you know. You get my point? So if the Europeans don't want us to go to Europe, then we only have Africa. And we need to develop Africa.
Inter-trade Africa.
Yes. We need to have inter-African trade. We need to make Africa so beautiful. Nasemanga tufanye Africa ikuwe so developed, so beautiful that hao wazungu watakuwa nakuja huku kuishi hapa. You understand? They will want to come and stay here. But if you are making noise about election, we can't even do a simple election. I can know, you know, Charles, countries like Finland, election happens. For even people go to unapiga kura na unaenda kazi. And then at the end of the day, you don't even know. Utasikia tu the results have been announced. And presidents, prime ministers, they're simple guys. Sometimes
on a bicycle,
and end up riding a bicycle.
Yeah,
they're simple because they think this is a servanthood. You serve the people. You know my point. So African leaders should change their mindset. Wajue, if the wazungu ndio waleta hii demokrasia na wazungu sasa
they are not
hawaichukulii ni kama kitu kubwa. They need to change their mind. Wajue kwamba the guys who brought us democracy have now changed, and democracy does not control their lives. Hapa, it's like election time, nothing happens.
It's the end of the world.
Life stops, and it is very, very sad. It's really, really sad.
So the people who you've been singing for CCM, wearing the green and black, have ran away, Daniel. That is the problem, and we pick the conversation from there.
Yes.
The problem of musicians and social media content creators who do not read the signs of time. So now they have not read the signs of time. They have found themselves in a very tight situation. Now they're running away.
Yeah, and it's very sad.
Yeah,
it's very sad. And this is the problem, especially of how Sulu has
move closer to Mike.
Sulu has conducted her campaigns.
Yeah,
thinking that when you get these social celebrities, those guys are bought. They're basically paid to appear,
to perform.
Yeah. And so I think CCM thought that by getting all those people on their side, then they have the people. But you have to know that the people, some of the people, the voters, the wananchi, wale ambaye, the ones who are suffering, the ones who are feeling the pinch of the economy in Tanzania, sometimes do not even have the luxury of listening to these musicians. They don't even they can't even afford to attend a concert by Platinum, for example. You understand?
Because it's too expensive.
These things are too expensive.
Yeah.
So these things are basically can only be afforded by the elite in Tanzania, and so it is very, very sad that musicians choose to pick sides. I think moving forward, musicians should know that music, their music is being listened to, by people from whichever party.
Yes.
So during elections, the musicians should try to remain neutral as much as possible. You understand? Because ile muziki ambayo unacheza kila mtu anaisikia, kuna fan kutoka government and from opposition. So the moment you stick, you are seen to be now campaigning for one side.
Yeah.
What if the other side loses? What happens to you?
Yeah.
It means you lose basically your currency with the people. So and that has not been not about Tanzania. We also saw it in elections, even in the US. We saw the Democratic Party, she had so many celebrities, and then, of course, endorsing her. Of course, even Trump had, a lot of celebrities. Kanye West, and also the wrestlers.
Yeah.
You get a point?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then...
Trump is
yes. So at the end of the day, even even the musicians, they also have their freedom of choice, their freedom to support a political party of their choice.
Yes.
But when you know that your funds, your funds are from both sides. Your funds are not just from the government ruling party. They are also from the opposition. They enjoy your song. So when you are openly campaigning for one side, it means you are alienating the other side. So we need to try and be sensitive. Now, most importantly, Charles, watu waambiane ukweli.
Yes.
Ukisema ukweli, when you speak the truth, it doesn't matter whether it is the opposition listening to you or from government.
Yeah.
When something is true, it's true. For example, it is true, that that Tanzania deserves free and fair elections. So these musicians should have been coming out to encourage the IEBC at Tanzania to manage free and fair elections.
Yeah.
Because the moment they speak, then wanaonyesha kwamba they are not just supporting one side, they stand for the truth. And when they call for free, transparent and verifiable elections, they will get support from government and also from the opposition. But the moment you take sides, alafu sasa, when you see government jailing opposition leaders, and you are keeping quiet,
which is very nonsensical,
and you are keeping quiet, when you keep quiet, it means that wewe mwenyewe, you are choosing which truth, which truth is good, and not. You're being politically correct. So I always say, people, religious leaders, civil servants, of course, artists, they need to be neutral. They need to know that they are serving the people. Sasa wale ambao wanafanya kazi kwenye IBC, the electoral managers, they need to demonstrate to the Tanzanian people, that they are they are fair arbiter, they are fair referee, kwamba hawamegei upande wowote. You get my point? That way they give the people, the Tanzanians, confidence that these elections at least will be free and fair. And when you do that, it means Mama Suluhu akishinda, watu watakubali. Watasema mama ameshinda, wacha tusalimu amri. But if if the opposition wins, pia the same. But the moment you don't demonstrate transparency, you don't demonstrate that you are an arbiter. You don't hawegei pande wowote. If you don't demonstrate that, then that results will not be accepted by the people.
It will never be.
Because it does not represent the will of the people. Like I said earlier on, elections are a representation of the will of the people.
Now, what I'm seeing, the images is that the Tanzanian leaders are saying that even Kenyan Gen Zs didn't ban things the way these Tanzanian Gen Zs are banning everything. They are visiting politicians' homes, politicians' businesses, and they are actually burning down places, CCM offices, because they think that CCM is what is causing them a lot of trouble. And I find this as a generational shift, because remember that the young people, you cannot feed them on hope. You have to feed them on substance.
Yes.
And substance must be jobs, must be proper schooling, must be things, tangible results. And for a long time, remember that Ujamaa has always been a country where people do not talk much. They are quiet individuals. But now, this has really changed the game. What next for Samia Suluhu and Tanzania? What next for this country?
Yeah, Samia needs, what she needs to do, popote alipo, ajitokeze. She needs to come out. She needs to come out and call for calm. She is still the president of Tanzania, until, of course, even if she wins, but she's still in charge.
Yeah.
There is no vacuum. She needs to come out and call for calm in that nation. You get my point? Yesterday, I saw only the leader of the army general,
Nkunda,
talking. But when he was talking, he was warning people.
Yeah, Nkunda.
You get my point?
Yeah.
Lakini, asiwachie, army to be the one to deal with it. We need to see Samia Suluhu, even if she's in Kenya. She needs to come out.
What are you saying? Even if she's in Kenya?
No, I'm saying even if she's here, even wherever she is,
yes,
she needs to come out and call for calm. She should not keep quiet, especially at this juncture. I talk ni mama wa Tanzania, aongee na watoto wake. She needs to call for calm. She needs to ask every Tanzanian, those who are supporting her and even those who are supporting her, she needs to let them know that she is the leader of everyone. Yeye ni mama wa taifa wa kila mtu. Asiegemee upande wote. Asione kwamba yeye ni mama tu wa CCM. Hapana. As president, she is the president of everyone. Yeye ni president pia wa Tundu Lissu. If Tundu Lissu wants justice, she should be able to facilitate that justice. That is why she is the president. You understand?
Yes.
So when you are a leader and you do not, exude fairness, you do not demonstrate fairness, then it is very, very sad. You are demonstrating that you actually not, you don't fit the bill. So whenever she is, what next for her? Let her release all the political party the prisoners, those who have been jailed unfairly. Watoke Jelani. And I don't know how far the election, because right now I'm not following the news. I don't know if the counting has been well done. But for me, if the people are complaining about the free and fairness of the election, is let them call for free, a repeat of elections, Or if they don't want to go through that a repeat of the elections, Samia Suluhu needs to release Tundu Lissu, watoke pamoja, they form a coalition government.
Yeah.
We saw it, Charles, in Zanzibar. In Zanzibar, there was also a problem in Zanzibar. And during that time, what they did, they came up with the grand coalition government, where we said, in Zanzibar, they said that the president is the one who wins, and the one who becomes second becomes the vice president. And it served them for some time, until I think around 5 or 10 years ago. You get my point? So Suluhu should also do that. Let her, embrace the opposition. Aseme yeye ni mama yao. Let her call for peace. And let her, if the elections have not been well conducted, she can direct the election commission to redo another election, or we have a period, a period where... A window period. Hata kama ni 1 year, where they can have a transitional government, because as it is now, the term, Suluhu's term, has ended with this election, So until she's given a new mandate by the people, then she can claim power. But if she sticks to power without a mandate that is seen as transparent, you get my point. Then she will not have credibility on the eyes of the people. Yeah.
But you see, what I think is that also Suluhu might be the problem, but the other problem might be is the way after John Pombe Magufuli, the president, died, which we call the Rais wa Awamu ya Tano, the fifth president. Traditionally Tanzania is a union of Zanzibar and Tanganyika. And the vice president traditionally comes from Zanzibar. And there are always two vice presidents. Then there is a question of Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete,
yes,
who pushed for Samia Suluhu from Zanzibar to ascend to presidency,
yes,
at the expense of the vice president who comes from the mainland. So now this Zanzibari leadership has never been there in a very long time. What they always say is that they allow the vice president of the union to come from Zanzibar, because Zanzibar has a president still. Now, it seems that now this election has put Tanzania in a very bad space, because the president of the union will come from Zanzibar.
Yes.
And the president of Zanzibar, who is the vice president,
yes,
will come from Zanzibar.
Yes.
Now, the only leader who will come from mainland is the second vice president,
yes,
which is a problem, and the prime minister.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the union, there's a problem there. And Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete has been seen as the biggest problem in this CCM party for a very long time. And that brings me to Julius Kambarage Nyerere, who developed a very good system of leadership and talk to people. There's a song by some two friends of mine. They're called Rostam. There's a song they call Parapanda, and they pretend that they've gone to heaven.
Yes.
And Julius Nyerere asks them,
yes,
what is happening in the country? Rais ni nani?
Yes.
And then that time John Magufuli.
Yes.
And then the one singer says, ni John Marijera. And no, Magufuli.
Yes.
Ule alikuwa mbunge wa Chato.
Yes.
So na magonjwa hapo jinga na nini imekwisha. Then the guy says, no, bado yapo. So if you have time, you listen to Parapanda by Rostam.
Okay.
Roma and Stamina, fantastic song there. It's a hip hop song.
Yes. Yes.
And Roma has been jailed several times for trying to fight for the freedom of many Tanzanians.
Yes.
So what do you say?
Yeah, so for me, I think I agree that there is that problem is there, because then that arrangement that, of course, Mauricio Kikwete came up with, if he pushed for it, that means, of course, it is true that mainland, wamebaki tu na second vice president. And so now that we have the president coming from Zanzibar and the vice president coming from Zanzibar, there is that imbalance. So I think it is time. One of the things also that I would advise the Tanzanian people is to craft a new constitution. I think the independence constitution that they have is too old.
It's too old. First of all, in fact, how do you have in a constitution that any election, once pronounced, you cannot challenge in a court of law?
That is nonsense. So that needs to change.
And number two,
that is analog.
And secondly, how do you have that any person who contests can be banned by the Electoral Commission and there's no recourse?
There has to be recourse. There's some things that do not make sense. You see, Charles, there are some countries like Britain. Britain, they don't have written constitution. They don't.
They don't
have a written constitution.
They don't have.
There's some common sense thing that you just say that this is unfair, this is not fair. Because you cannot have a situation whereby there is no recourse. There has to be recourse. Government in itself is kind of a chamber. They always say in political science that something called a political equilibrium. That people, the framers of constitution knew that government there'll always be problems in running states. You get my point? There will always be problems, and so the reason why we have government is that whenever there's a problem, inawekwa kwa hiyo chamber, and then that problem is sorted out and the solution is found. So that is when we have political equilibrium. Hawezi sema kwa nchi yote, hawezi kuwa na nchi ambayo haina shida. You will always have problems, and that's why we have the judiciary. The judiciary is there to solve problems that come from the implementation from the legislature or from the executive. So sometimes there'll be excesses from the executive, sometimes there'll be unfair legislation, and so they have to be taken to the judiciary to sort out. So you cannot say that you have a situation in this civilization where people cannot have a recourse. No, people must have a recourse. And that is one of the reasons why I'm calling upon Tanzania to start the process of a new constitution. It's not too late to be able to do that. Let them. I understand this election has been chaotic. If this election is not well concluded, then one of the things that President Suluhu can offer to the people of Tanzania, aseme kumekuwa na shida Tanzania, na nimeelewa kumekuwa na hii, na on her, one of the things that she can say moving forward is we need to have a new constitution. Na tuwe na mchakato wa kutengeneza a new constitution in Tanzania. And so they can give themselves 1 year and then they start that process. If they want, we can help them. We can send to them experts to help them work on news. But they don't like Kenyans these days.
No, they
wanasemanga ni Wakenya ndio wanasemanga Wakenya ni viumbe.
They call us viumbe. But you see what
right now wanadhani ni Wakenya ndio wameleta shida huko. No, it's not Kenyans who have brought the problems.
But Daniel, what I'm looking at is that this problem is not far from over. And I will tell you that, remember the Gen Z, which started in Kenya, was preliminary. Now, the Tanzanian one is a quarterfinals.
Yes.
Uganda might have a semi-finals of this thing next year.
Absolutely.
And Kenya might have a final in 2027.
Absolutely. You never
know. How do we deal with it? Because it's a ripple. It's a ripple effect and a snowball.
We have to.
It will snowball very badly from Uganda if we do not put properly our houses in order in East Africa.
Yes.
What happened in Kenya was just a way to showcase that the youth are dissatisfied.
Yes.
The youth are ready and they will not take any more nonsense of leadership, which is not representing them.
Yes.
Now, the Tanzanians have taken it a notch higher by banning anything and everything they perceive has been gotten from ill wealth and also people who have been stifling them. Now, Uganda is next year, the election. Whatever happens, we don't know. And Kenya 2027 is also a turning point.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, so for that, one of the things that people have come to learn and even the power, the people in power have come to learn is that these young people are restless. They have nothing much to lose, and you cannot kill them. And even if you kill them all, you can't kill them all. You understand? They saw in Nepal, for example, I think some young people in Nepal were killed, but they came out in large numbers.
Yes.
And when they came out, they overpowered the police, they overpowered the military, and so you have to give in to the masses. You get my point? So the thing is, so the governments already see, Tanzania can see, Kenya saw, that when they come out in large numbers, there's nothing you can do.
Yes.
The least you can do is to shoot a few and kill a few, but you will not kill everyone.
You cannot kill everybody.
You get my point?
Yes.
And some of them are saying, I heard some of them saying that, look, if Raila Odinga has died,
yes,
they don't fear dying.
Of course.
They no longer fear dying because, when they die, they believe maybe wataenda Sayuni, wataenda, to a better place. So police shooting should not be the solution. So Tanzania, I call upon the government of Tanzania, the army there, that if there are shootings that are going on,
yes,
that needs to stop. I've always said that the security agencies need to know that they are there to serve the people. The security agency, Jeshi la Tanzania,
Jeshi la Usalama
or Tanzania,
yes,
kazi ya jeshi la Tanzania ni kulinda wananchi wa Tanzania. Kazi yao sio kulinda wale wako kwa serikali. So the security agents are there to protect the people. Yeah. We the people. It is the people who decide who is president and who are the leaders. You get my point? So the security, any wise security agency know when it is time to stand with the people. So when you stand with the people, then you can be able to control the situation. But if you don't stand with the people, then you can easily escalate the situation. So I want to call upon the security agencies in Tanzania. Let them talk to the young people. Let them be the disciplined forces. They're the disciplined forces here. Wawe na hiyo nidhamu. There's a reason why they're called the disciplined forces. It's because they have the discipline. Wasijichukue kwamba kwa sababu wakana bunduki, now they can shoot anyone. You can shoot, but you can't kill everyone. Right now, the world is watching. The International Criminal Court is there. They're watching. You cannot be in power for long. You'll be in power. The longest you can be is maybe 10 years, which is the life of a given government. Usually 5 and another 5.
5, yeah.
So what happens after the 10 years? The 12th year, you will be called to account for what you did when your regime was in power. You get my point? Yeah. So the security agency really need to really work hard and ensure that they defend the people, they protect the people. They need to have peaceful demonstration. I call upon peaceful protest. The Tanzanian people waache kuchoma manyumba
na vitu za watu,
waache kuchoma vitu za watu, waache kuchoma vitu za the musicians whom they think supported akina Diamond Platinum. Honestly, they should not ban Diamonds and other musicians or whatever. Waache kufanya hivyo, so that this issue can be sorted out. But then and again, what they need to do is to articulate with clarity what they want. Do they want new elections? Do they want do they want a new constitution? What do they want at this? Do they want the political prisoners to be set free? So they need watu waandikie sababu wasema hizi ndio vitu tunataka. Nataka uchaguzi mpya, nataka new constitution. We want to release the political prisoners and we want good governance. Once you communicate with clarity, then kazi kwake Suluhu.
I've seen he said something. Uchaguzi umeisha.
Yes.
Tundu Lissu atatoka jela.
Yes.
Naomba utulivu sasa. I've seen someone saying that's what Suluhu has said.
Yes.
Tuendelee kujenga taifa letu kwa amani na waomba sana. Majirani wetu watatucheka. I don't know why she's always with this majirani thing.
Hawachani na majirani.
Tusiruhusu tofauti zetu zituharibie heshima kama taifa. Yes. Wacha historia itukumbuke kwamba tulichagua amani badala ya vurugu. I find Suluhu too much thinking of Kenyans.
Our China and our Kenya.
Yeah, than dealing with the problem. Kenya is not part of her problem.
Kenya is actually the solution.
Yeah,
Kenya is actually supporting.
Yeah.
If she does the right thing, Kenya will stand with her.
Yeah.
But if Kenyans we don't sugarcoat. Our Gen Zs don't sugarcoat. If you do the right thing, they will tell you. If you do the wrong thing, they will also tell you. You know, Shida Shulu's problem started when they mistreated the Kenyan activists who were there.
Boniface Mwangi, yeah.
That was unnecessary.
And you see, that's why we are saying that this unity of the presidency in East Africa, where they are abducting and torturing what we call wanaharakati, and they are saying, there's a day Suluhu said, wanaharakati wa hili kila mataifa wameingia nchini kutuharibia. You know, you cannot say about people who are fighting for the rights activists, and you know, they call them wanaharakati, that they are going to spoil for you. Just make sure that the constitution works.
Yeah, do the right thing. Hakuna kitu Kenya wanataka kuharibia. There's nothing we want in Tanzania.
Yeah.
What is there in Tanzania that we don't have there? What we are just, the Kenyan people are just sympathizing with because sisi ni watu wa jumuiya. Our taxes, we are paying a lot of our taxes towards this jumuiya, EAC. And so we want them to do the right thing. Why are we spending so much of our taxes towards EAC and they're not doing the right thing? And that is one of the reasons why we feel we need to have a say, because ni pesa zetu ushuru yetu inaenda kwa hiyo jumuiya. And we want that jumuiya to be a responsible jumuiya. Tunataka jumuiya to do the right thing. We want a jumuiya that respects human life, a jumuiya that upholds good governance. We want a jumuiya that respects the constitution, respects the people. Watu wa Afrika, you know, hii boundary, the boundary that we have in Africa was given to us by the colonialists, you know, by the Berlin Conference. Before that, we were one people. Ukiangalia pale Masai, you know, the border between Kenya and Tanzania, we have Masai on the Tanzanian side and the Masai on Kenyan side. This was a line that was just drawn. Effectively, we are one people. So President Suluhu awache kusema sisi ni majirani, atufai tuongee. Hapana. We have Masais, you know, in the other side. Hata huko Tanzania tuko na Wajaluo. I have seen so many Luos there.
Yes.
I've seen so many, you know, people from whatever. So we are one people. So we cannot stand aside and watch if something is going wrong in the neighbor. Na wao pia wakiona kama kuna shida hapa Kenya, wakuja watusaidie.
Yes.
Jakaya Mrisho came in 2007.
Yeah.
Jakaya Mrisho came with the other president, the other one, Mkapa.
Yeah.
When we had a problem, they came and they helped us. So mbona sasa saa zile walikuja wakutusaidia, mbona saizi hawataki sisi tuwasaidie? You know? Yeah, shida ikitokea, you know, lazima jirani asaidie. Kama jirani yako na wewe you are killing your wife, and the neighbors cannot cannot keep quiet if you are killing your wife.
You cannot.
We can't. We have a responsibility, because we are human beings, to ensure that you are doing the right thing. Yes, it doesn't matter about sovereignty. I know sovereignty is an issue, but with sovereignty comes responsibility. And we are already, you know, global citizens, and Samia Suluhu must do the right thing for the people of Tanzania.
So I think you've captured it very well done. The Tanzanian question is a big problem, and that the youth in Tanzania must also exercise restraint, not to burn things, but have peaceful protests.
Yes.
And the Tanzanian leaders must come to meet the demands of the youth, have a free, fair, and credible election, and also listen to what they need. So I want us to close the conversation, but maybe I would ask you, do you think this thing will stop soon? And if it stops, how does Suluhu rebuild this country if she's still back in power? So
for me, the fact that there's nothing coming out from the official media, you know, even the observers. Yesterday I was talking to the ambassador from Slovakia. He was telling me that they don't have, you know, EU observers are not there. You know, we needed observers, you know, to be able to see what is going on and report to us. And the fact that also the media, we are not able to see. I said this morning I tuned in to TBC, I could not see anything. So people are relying on what is coming on social media. You get my point? So the fact that we don't know what is going on is difficult to help. So if the government can open up the media, open up the democratic space, open the media, so that we see what is going on. And I also want to call upon President William Ruto, and the East African, the EAC president. Let us talk to Samia. Let us come to the help of our brothers and sisters in Tanzania. If they need mediation, I think President Ruto can do a good job. Can do a good job together with Museveni, who is the old man
of East Africa
with the big hat.
The old man of East Africa.
Yeah. So let us. We should not wait. You remember there was a time something happened in Rwanda. In the 80s. We waited, and then Rwandese people killed one another. Until people came in when there was a genocide. We cannot let Tanzania do that. They are our brothers. Najua saa zingine wanatuita viumbe, lakini tunawapenda, wao ni mandugu zetu. Hatutaki waangamie, because we have been there. We have been in 207.
We were there.
We have been at a bad place.
Yes.
We don't want Tanzania to go to 207. Okay. So we have been there. So we are calling upon the president, let us not keep quiet. Let us not leave Tanzania to their own devices. Let us talk to them. Let us reach out to them. Let us ask if there's a way we can help, and let us help them.
I think you've captured it very well, and also it's always good to give people their flowers. That's Daniel, DJ, Omondi doing the Lord's work and expressing what Tanzanians need to do.